Hello everyone, I'm Rezvan.
And I'm Steven.
And it's Cardboard Collision.
And today we figured we'd bring you a how to play for Shipwrights of the North Sea. And this is the redo version. And it is its own game and it's not its own game from the original Shipwrecks. This is from Garphill Games. It's for 1 to 5 players. Ages, I forgot now.
13 plus.
And it takes 60 minutes to play. So if you want to come with us to the top view, we'll go over how to set up and how to play.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Welcome to the top view. We'll do the setup really quick. We'll start with the main play area. Then we'll get into the player area. So first thing that you put out is the player board. The next thing that you go ahead and do is you shuffle the round cards, which are over here. So you select 5, you shuffle them, you have a stack. I want to say it's like 12, but you shuffle them and then you pick 5 out of there and you set them down right here. As you see, it matches, so you know where to put them. The next thing you want to do is you want to shuffle your raid cards and put them out. Then you want to shuffle your trade cards and put them out. Once you have that, then you want to put out your heroes. You have a hero for military track, a hero for the trade track, and you have a hero for the renown track. And then you have these kind of generic heroes. The next thing that you want to do is you want to put out the village cards, which is a huge stack, especially when you have them sleeved. You go ahead and put out the village cards. After you have the village card out, you have each player select their markers. So we have the markers right here and you put them on the different tracks, the military, the trade, and the renown, right? Then the next thing you do is you go ahead and you get out your resources. So you have your stone, you have your wood, you have your wool, you have your gold, you have your workers, right? Your meeples, then you have your coins. So setting up the player board, this is for all the players. Each player kind of has a setup like this, right? The first thing that you want to go ahead and do is give each player a player board. The next thing that you want to do is give each player an ikja, whatever, a boat, right, in the color that they chose. In the beginning, when we were setting up the main play area, then you give them their laborer also in the same color. You'll see the color matches. And then you have these cards. There's 6 of them. And you're going to shuffle them and give one at random to each player. The reason you shuffle them is because they can have a different point value on the backside. And what they do here, same as on the back, what they do here is different. And their progress trackers. So this one is the renown, right? Some have military, some have trade. So you go ahead and give everyone their cards. Then you go ahead and give them 3 workers. They're kind of hard to tell because of the black background, but you give them 3 workers. 1 wood, 1 wool, 1 iron, 1 gold, and 2 coins. All right, so let's go ahead and go through the cards first before we go through our first phase, which is basically a drafting phase. So first off, we have our ship cards. This is going to give you the crafts people that you need to make this ship. This tells you how many workers you have to spend, how much wood, wool, stone, and gold you have to spend to build this ship. This tells you how many points it's going to be at the end. This will show you the progression you get on any of the progression tracks. Down here will tell you, this is an endgame scoring on this one. It says boats that don't match. Each boat that doesn't match name-wise, you get a point. And then over here, this is for any card. It tells you if you get rid of this card, you go ahead and get that resource. So in that case, it's wool.
Did you talk about this part?
Yep. These are your craftspeople that you need.
Oh, craftspeople.
The next card that you'll run into is this card. Now, this card is a building, right? And so what this card is going to tell us is what we need to build the building. So 2 workers, 1 wood, 1 wool, 1 stone. How many points we get for that building, right? Let's see if I can get that to focus in a little bit. 1 point. Your progress track, so you can go up 2 on that progress track. Why can't I think it? Renown, so that's the renown progress track. Down here, it tells you what happens if you put a meeple there, right? A little worker spot. Put a meeple, get that. And then right here, it tells you what you get if you discard it, like every card. All right.
Yeah.
So we got some new things now. Now we're starting to get the crafts people. So what they're going to tell you, well, up here, it lets you know it can be put under a building. So this card can be, for a piece of gold, can be put under the building, right? And we'll talk about how that works, but that's what that symbol tells you. For 1 gold, put this person in a hut. I guess you can look at it that way. This tells you the crafts that they can do. This is their main craft, right? And then for an extra coin, for 1 coin, they'll do their second craftsman ability. This can count for 2 abilities on a ship. Those abilities we were talking about up here. So you see this guy has 1 of them already. All right, and then of course, I mean, there's the name, and then you have get rid of the card and get that.
Yeah.
All right, next person we have is a townfolk person. So once again, put it into a house, put them in a house or under a building card for 1 gold. What that's going to end up doing, where's our building cards? That's going to end up allowing you to do an extra action whenever you put a meeple there. So this is a meeple for 2 cards, to draw 2 cards. This is spend a meeple to draw 2 more cards. Oop. All right, then of course they have their name, it's a forager, and then they have the what you get when you discard the card.
Yeah.
All right, the last card that you'll run across is your Jarl cards. And so once again, you get to put it in a house or under a house, you pay 1 gold. You have your stuff down here. That's 1 point at the end of the game. And then this lets you move up the military track in this case. So it lets you move up the tracks. This is military twice and renown once. Then you have their name right there. And then right here, of course, you get rid of it and you get 1 gold. So in this game, what you're trying to be is the greatest shipwright that there is. I just realized there's a lot of light right on the side. You're trying to be the greatest shipwright that there is, right? And to do that, you need to build ships, build buildings, and collect Jarls will help you do that. Anything that has one of these little flags are going to be points. Moving up on these progression tracks, if you get high enough, gives you points, things like that. So, and also having some of these heroes in your possession at the end of the game gives you points. Anything that has one of these markers, little flag things. All right, so how this game works is you have your reveal round, you draft cards, you take actions, you gain income, and then you distribute your heroes, right? And then you set up and do it again. So let's go ahead and start with the first thing, and that is flipping the round card. So over here we have our round cards. There's 5 of them, so you know there's 5 rounds. Now on the back side of the round card, it's just telling you, you can trade 3 things. You can trade a wood, a wool, a stone, 3 things for a gold. 1 gold equals any of the 3 main resources, wood, wool, or iron. And then down here, it's saying at the end of the game, each gold you have is worth 1 point. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take this card and you want to flip it over. If you're playing solo, you pay attention to all this across the top. If not, ignore it. So if you're playing in a group, you ignore that. We're set up in a group, we don't care. So what this is telling you is your market. 2 coins for wood, 1 coin for wool, 3 coins for iron. You go ahead and set that down right here, and you see the images match up, so you know where to put it. So you just flip it over like that. You're ready to go. Next thing that you want to do is you want to start drafting. So how you do that is each player gets 6 cards. So we'll see if we can do this really fast. All right. Once all players have their 6 cards, they go ahead and flip those cards over and they look at them, right? And from those 6 cards, they're going to select 1 card to keep for themselves. And just blindly, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to keep that card, and then they pass the rest to the next player. So what you do is you wait till everyone picks 1 card. I'm going to go ahead and go like this.
For example, I'm this, yeah. And this.
Yep. And then you would go ahead and you would pass the cards. So they would go to your left,
To the left.
to your left,
This.
and to your left. You keep doing this over and over again till everyone has 6 cards. Once everyone has their 6 cards, they're going to have some choices that they can do. So those choices are going to be discard a village card. So any of these cards have the discard ability, right? So you have the discard ability and it gives you something. So you can discard the card to get that value.
Yeah.
The next thing that you have would be to recruit champions. Oh, God damn it. The next thing that you can do is you can recruit a craftsperson. So this is a craftsperson. I can recruit them. To recruit them, all I do is set them down on my board. So you'll notice that some cards have blue borders across the bottom. These all have blue. Some have brown borders. Blue borders can go on here. You can put as many craftspeople or ships as you want, but know that if you cover up these spots, then you can't use them while you're playing. So I can recruit a craftsperson. The next thing that I can do is I can recruit a Jarl. I don't know if anyone had a Jarl. I don't think I saw a Jarl anywhere. So I'm going to grab these cards I threw off to the side. You can recruit a Jarl. Now with a Jarl, how you recruit the Jarl is you take them, you pay your gold, and you tuck them under a house. It could be any house. It could even be your starting house. Then you would go ahead and move your marker. So we're the blue player. The blue player would move up 2, 1, 2 on the military track. And they would move up 1 for right here. They'd move up 1 on the renown track. I have to keep remembering renown for down there for some reason. All right, the next thing that we get to do is recruit a town person. So how you recruit town folk, right, is either just like the Jarl, you pay the gold and you tuck them under a house. So you could take them and you pay the gold and you tuck them under a house. The next thing we can do is start work on a longship. And all that really means is that you find one of the ships. It looks like there's a whole bunch in this hand, right? You find one of the ships, right? And you could do all this stuff in any order. You find one of the ships and you set them down on your board. Once again, you're not paying anything. You're just going ahead and setting them down on your board, right? So the next thing that you can do after that is constructing the actual longship. So this is begin work, is to put it down there. To construct the longship, in this case, we don't have enough to do it yet, but we would want to have a worker with an axe on it. I don't know what the name of each of the workers are, but an artisan that has that symbol. You want 1 worker, 1 wood, 3 wool, and 2 iron to build this ship. All right. Once you construct a ship, you take the ship from down here, you spend any workers. So let's just say that this was the right symbol. You put this worker in the discard, and then you get rid of all the supplies you need, right? You go ahead and put them back in the supply, and then you put the ship up here, and you move your person up that track. So this is renowned, so you'd go 1, 2, right? So I'll talk about what you do when you hit those renowned tracks here in a minute. So that is how you construct a ship. Next, we can construct a building. So after glancing around really quick, I know that this one has buildings. So just kind of like the ships, you don't put them on here because they have the brown bottom, but you pay your worker, your iron. This one takes gold, gives you victory points at the end. And you would go ahead and pick a place down here once you've paid your supplies and put it next to the other buildings. So you would kind of put it down across the bottom. After that, what you can do is you can place workers. So if you haven't spent them all, you have these workers in hand. Now there's some places that you could place a worker. You can put a worker on your board, right? If you have a worker on your board and you ever put a card, and your cards go from left to right, so you ever fill it up till it's right here, this worker goes out and back to your supply. I guess I'm using the wrong wrong board and workers over here, right? So if this was full with ships and stuff, right, and you put a card here, the worker would go back in your supply. But workers can go there. You'll see these round spaces, or they can go here. This will be 2 silver for a gold, 2 silver or 2 coins. Over here, you can set them on this, and you could only put 1 in each spot, right? So you can set them right here, and you would spend 1 coin or silver to get 1 gold. So that's the next thing you do. You can place workers. All right, now you can also trade resources. And really what that is saying is you can do this action up here on the board. You can trade a whole bunch of resources for gold. 1 wood, 1 wool, 1 stone. You could trade a gold for resources if you wanted. Or you could buy the resources that are in the market, and that will change with each card that gets flipped over. All right, the last thing that you can do is raid a settlement. So whenever you hit the mark on this board, you're going to get a card from that area. So we'll just explain this really quick. If you hit the R's, those are those cards. You hit any of the blues, that's obviously those cards, your trade card, military trade. Now your renown, how that works is you get to flip any of these. You see they have the renowned kind of rune there. I think they should have just made those yellow for everyone, but they didn't. And what it means is you can pick one of your cards to bump up, right? So you have these different cards down here to bump up. So you just pick one of them and you flip them over to the sign that takes the rune away, and they all give you victory points and some extra stuff. All right, so back to the last thing you can do, which is raid. So raiding is when you hit the red there, you pick one of these cards and then you flip it over. This tells you how many meeples or how many workers, right? I'm going to keep calling them meeples, how many workers you need to do this action down here. Now you spend these workers. These workers go to the supply, right? So if you're at 4, it takes 2 workers. 7, it takes 1. If you're at 10, it takes 0 workers, and you get to draw a card, get a resource, and get a coin. So once you do a raid, so let's say that this person was doing a raid, they put their 2 workers there. Well, they don't put their 2 workers there. They actually put them there because they're gone. And they flip the card to let themselves know that they've spent that raid. Now the raids are going to come back at the end of the round, so just remember that. Once your action phase is over, you've either put boats and tradesmen here or anywhere in your play area, or discarded them for their bonuses. All right, once all that's done, so we're just going to go ahead and do this to reflect that it's all done, so you guys can see that. Then you go ahead and you go into the gain income phase. And so basically the gain income phase is what in a lot of games, or in even some Shem Phillips games, they call rest. So there's lots of different cards that have this symbol. That means your rest symbol. You do that during your gain income phase. So in this case, you would go ahead and you would get a worker, right? You also at this point in the game take any workers that you've played on the board or on your cards, and you put them back into your supply of workers. Remember, workers for ships, workers for raids, and workers for buildings to construct the building, construct a ship, or go on raids, they're gone. They put them in the supply, no more. The other thing that you do is if you have a raid card, you go ahead and flip it back over because now you can raid again on your next turn. Once everyone has gotten their meeples back, they've gained all their income from any of their rest actions, then you go ahead and look on this board up here and you see who gets which one of these heroes. Now these heroes, and they're connected, you could see the color or the symbol, right? This is the military track. They're going to give you a bonus. They're going to become one of your laborers and they're going to give you a bonus. That means ongoing, right? Just like this is ongoing. So your basic laborer, which I forgot to tell you, helps you construct boats. You can get rid of a card, you can discard a card, and you can spend a gold to have any craftsperson. So that means you can, for 1 card and 1 gold, you can make that symbol. Basically, that's what it's saying. When you upgrade it, you don't have to get rid of a card, you just pay a gold and it still does the same thing. But back to it. So you go through your heroes and you see who is top everywhere. So Red in this instance gets the military might one. And what this is saying is for each spot that you get along the track, each time you get one of these, then you get a worker. But it also, like I said, at the end of the game has 3 points if you have it at the end of the game. So we check to see who gets what heroes. So distribute the heroes. Blue gets red. Purple would get trade. Where is purple on the board? Purple's way over here. It's probably going to cut out of the camera, but I'll try to put it in. Purple would get trade. And then blue would also get renown. That's just because how we were setting this up. Blue got a whole bunch of stuff, so blue would get renown. Anybody who does not get one of the heroes right here, they get this hero for the rest of the next turn. And this is just 2 coins, lets you draw a card. So everyone else would get this hero. So everyone has a hero at the end no matter what. Now, if at any point at the end of a round, someone has this, one of these generic heroes, and they gain by being further than anyone else on the track, they gain a hero, they go ahead and take their generic one and they put it back in the stack, right? And they would replace it obviously with that hero. There's no limit to how many heroes that each player can have on them. This player would get no generic hero because they already have 2. Now, when trying to decide who gets each hero, what you end up doing is you see where people are on this track. If there is any ties, say like down here, no one gets that hero. So in this case, no one would get this. And well, I already have one, so I wouldn't get that. So no one would get this hero. So whenever there's a tie, no one gets the hero. All right, once you've gone through all 5 rounds, so all these cards have flipped over, you've done your last round, you've gone through all your phases, then you go ahead and score the game. So to score the game, what you do is you look at all long ships. You go ahead and get points for all your long ships. You also look at any bonuses you might have for long ships. This one, for instance, says if you have every set of these, one of each, then you get 3 points. So yellow, unfortunately, does not have that. No one has that. So you look at long ships built, not long ships on the board. Nothing here counts. Long ships built, right, and any scoring bonuses. After the long ship, you look at any buildings. You look at the points that you get for buildings. After the buildings, you look at recruited Jarls. And just remember that it's always wherever you have these flags, right? Recruited Jarls. And right now, you get all those points together. After the recruited Jarls, then you look at the progress track. I have not yet mastered getting up this high on the progress track, but as you can see, there's points depending on how far up the track you actually go. The next thing that you look at is the VP on the hero cards, right, and the laborers. And so what they mean by that is if you bump up your laborer by hitting one of these renown marks, you obviously get points for that laborer. But your heroes give points. So anyone who has a hero that's not a generic hero gets 3 points. So you go ahead and do your heroes and your laborers, see whatever points you get there. And then the last thing is gold. So one of the things you have to be smart when you're playing this game is doing this conversion from coins to gold, especially when it gets closer to the end. So you can get as much gold as you can have. And also remember, during the market phase, when you're trading stuff, or during the phase where you're doing all your actions, you could do the market phase and you could trade for goods, either buying them or doing the swap out. And you could do this as many times as you want. So you might want to go ahead and do that before the end of the game. Once you've put together your score from your long ships, your buildings, your recruited Jarls, your progress track, your hero and labor VP, and your gold, the 1 victory point per each gold, then you figure out who the winner is. If there's a tie, it goes to whoever has the most workers still at the end. And if there's still a tie, as usual, you fight it to the death. No, as usual, it's a shared win at the end.
Okay, we turn back.
Hopefully, I did better at editing and you guys had an easy time getting through how to play Shipwrights of the North Sea redo.
Yeah.
So this is the redo, Shipwrights of the North Sea redo from Garphill Games. It's 1 to 5 players, ages 13 plus. Did I get it right? I got it right. And 60 minutes to get through it. And the one thing that we have found every time we play, even with more players, it usually takes about an hour. It's actually quite shocking how right the box is. It takes about an hour to get through it. But I hope you guys enjoyed.
I'm Resman.
I'm Steven.
And it's Garphill Games. And don't forget, I'm sorry, liking, commenting, subscribing. Do you know why my mind is busy? Let me tell them. Okay, I wanted to help you. If you want to play, if you make more building here, to help you more. Because you give a lot of tokens and good ability.
You're building your machine. So there's a pro tip. Right?
Yeah.
You're building your engine, not your machine. So you want to build your engine by putting a lot of houses out.
Yeah.
But hope you guys enjoyed, plus that pro tip from Resvon. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.